Alright, hey, here we are. I'm Christy with Vermiculture Northwest, and I just wanted to take a few moments and show you one of the bins that I was growing in actively last summer. And when winter hit this year, it hit hard. I tell you, I went to bed one night and we had nothing in the way of winter outside, and I literally woke up the next morning and we had almost 3 feet of snow that fell overnight. And it just seemed from that day on, all I was doing was shoveling snow. And I never really did get out to the worm bin. I never got a pathway shoveled out there. And so they were sort of on their own all winter. And the bins that I grow inside, I did absolutely nothing with. And so they haven't had food, they haven't had water, they've had nothing. And when I got into them today, I fully expected not to find anything whatsoever. This first bin is a can of worms, and I really do like the can of worms as a worm bin very much. It's a good size. It handles quite a bit of food waste, and the worms seem to really thrive in the environment. I have a lot of luck with it, and so I highly recommend the can of worms. I have it for sale on my website now. I finally found a source for you guys, and so I wanted to show you what the worms have done in this bin over the winter time. And basically, when I went into winter, the top level, which is what I'm going to show you first, was a finished layer. I was essentially working on getting the worms out of that layer and moving back down into a layer that had fresh bedding and food waste in it. And I was working on turning the material in this layer and getting it aerated, getting the worms out of it, and getting it dried enough that I could utilize the material. So I'm going to move the camera down here so that you can see. I need to find my gloves, find where I laid my gloves, and I'm going to show you this first layer. And just move the camera down here. And it's beautiful material. It still has really quite a bit of moisture in it. It's certainly not totally dry by any stretch of the imagination, which sort of surprised me, since you know, I haven't done anything to it since November. So that's what, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, April. 5 months. I've not even had the lid off of this bin to tend or look at the worms or anything. I had too many other things on my plate to worry about, and so I just figured, you know, whatever I ended up with, I would just work with. So this tray here is just totally finished material, and I could take this and dry it further and put it through a screen and add it to my seeding mix, or I can take it out. Probably what I'll do is I'll just take it out and dump it right on one of my gardening beds. I've got a gardening bed out there that I'm working on this year. I'm building it out of the compost that's left over after I sift out the castings out of my material, and it's going to be just a beautiful bed. So I'll probably just throw this on top of that and be done with it, because it's not really worth me taking too much time with this. This is the layer that I was trying to get the worms to go down into, and I've already had my hands in here. You can see it's quite wet. I was surprised at that as well. There's still quite a bit of unworked material, and you can also see that there is absolutely no worms in this material whatsoever. It is soggy, and just void of any worms. If you looked around, you'd probably find a cocoon or two in here. What I'll probably do, because it doesn't smell bad, it doesn't smell like it's gone toxic or anaerobic or anything, so I'll probably take this and I will probably encourage the worms back into it at some point. But what I'm going to do, I'm not going to take this next section here is where all the worms are, and I'm going to take those and I'm actually going to put them into fresh bedding. I'm not going to put them into this because this is just too wet. It's too wet, it's too dense, it needs to have some fresh carbon material mixed into it, and you know, get some air in there for the worms to be able to work their way into it. So I'm gonna set this aside, and I'm not gonna worry about this at this point in time. Now then, this next, it's not actually even a tray, it's actually the very bottom of the can of worms where the excess moisture goes in. It has a spigot on it. Let's see if I can get that right there. The spigot is where the excess moisture comes out and drips into a bucket. These little things here are have little air holes to allow air up into the bottom of the can of worms. And then there are little spacers here that hold that bottom tray up off of these air holes so that the air can get up underneath there and circulate. Now this is where the worms are, and it's basically just mucky castings is what this is. And all of the worms that are left from this bin are down in this stuff. And most of them are very skinny and are babies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop this stuff out of here. You see it's just full of worms. And I'm going to scoop this stuff out of here, and I'm going to put it in my fresh bedding. And I'm just going to, you know, put them in that fresh manure, and they're just going to go to town. And today is April 27th, and we'll take a look at that tray and sort of follow the progress of what these worms are doing. So what I'm going to do is, this is the tray that I have prepared for these worms. And what this is this is a mixture of alpaca manure. These are little alpaca pellets. They sort of almost look like rabbit pellets, but it's alpaca manure and horse manure that has been sitting out in my holding area. The horse manure is actually from last year. So it's been sitting there for most of last summer and then through the winter, and then the alpaca manure I went and got about November, so it's been sitting out there for about 5 or 6 months. And I have been putting this on my worm bins, and there are actually critters that have moved into this material. So there's worms, there's centipedes, there's pill bugs, there's all sorts of little critters that are already inhabiting this material. And so that is one of the surest ways to know that your bedding material is safe for you to put your worms in. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this stuff, and I'm going to take these guys here and I'm just going to spread them around on top of this manure. And give them a new home.